What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and more Birthright coverage. So today we're going to take a look at another realm ability, and that is Lieutenant, which is always a fun one to have some capable second and third in commands and so on that can handle some of your tasks that you need to accomplish for the realm, especially if you have other things occupying your attention. So definitely a ability that will be used quite often in campaigns, and certainly well worth knowing that you have capable backups, but also bear in mind that other opposing realms will also be able to have multiple lieutenants in a lot of cases, some quite formidable. So here, basically a special success rate and certain conditions, but normally a hireling becomes a henchman only when they demonstrate loyalty and respect for a particular PC, but with regions it works a little bit differently. There's basically a never-ending flood of people who want to work for them. So by spending a character action, you can find a lieutenant and then add them to your list of henchmen, but they're a little bit more than just a generic henchman. So lieutenants are excellent stand-ins when you're busy and can provide extra muscle for you during on an adventuring party. The region's charisma score dictates the maximum number that can work for them. So again, modify that for your particular edition of the game that you're playing. So for this purpose, a scion of a minor bloodline could add 1 to the effective charisma score, scion of a major 2, and then 3 for a great bloodline. So another great perk there. So even if your charisma isn't necessarily your high stat, depending on your bloodline strength, that can still sort of be modified there. But obviously already great if you have already a solid charisma score. So normally a henchman can't exceed their master's level, but for purposes of determining whether an NPC can serve as a regent's henchman, the regent adds 1 to his level, again for a minor, 2 for a major, and 3 for a great line. So for example, a 3rd level regent with a major bloodline is actually treated as 5th level, so then lieutenants can be up to 4th level. So it's a neat way of sort of modifying that again, just so that even when you're not necessarily a high level character yet, you can still have some decently competent lieutenants as far as levels go. Now when a player decides to gain a lieutenant, don't simply tell him, all right, the guard captain is a 5th level fighter, or something to that effect. It's more reasonable to describe the NPC as tough, courageous, or a skilled swordsman, etc., so that the player doesn't create a cadre of lieutenants based basically on their levels and just sort of a generic lieutenant template. So again, it's a great chance for role-playing, getting into the stories, and then some of the other adventure hooks and potential things that can happen that are elaborated on in some of the other expansion products, which we'll get into as well. But that can certainly lead to some interesting situations too, where maybe a lieutenant feels that they're not being rewarded for their service and maybe turns bad or turns against you, creates a plot against you. So there's just infinite number of ways you can take that stuff. But similarly, you could also set it up to where, if you're playing in your campaign, maybe you are the main regent and then the other player characters are your lieutenants and so on. So could be any number of setups that you take. So at the DM's discretion, lieutenants may be of higher levels than the regents they serve. It could be a very old, grizzled lieutenant who served the family through maybe a couple of different rulers, etc. So this may apply, as we said here, lifetime servant, etc. So lots of opportunities there too. And then finally, note that a PC lieutenant advances in level normally and is not hindered by the level of the regent, right? So if your lieutenant's out there doing work and they, earned that level increase, well, then they get it. And then the interesting thing too with lieutenants is there's a lieutenant action that can be taken. So another just great reason to invest in, at some point, cultivating a good lieutenant. Once per domain turn, the regent may assign a lieutenant to a domain action. The lieutenant may not be used for any other purpose that round, such as responding to random events, which is a great use for your lieutenants in a lot of cases. Some of those really will just weigh you down with responding to stuff as opposed to doing what you need to get done. And they could go on their own adventures too, right? The lieutenant performs the action for the regent. In effect, the regent gains an additional action that round. Regardless of the number of lieutenants a regent has, they can exercise this option only once per turn. So good balance sort of check built in there, right? So somebody who's, getting up there in levels, has, a little like half dozen lieutenants or something like that, shouldn't basically then be able to get that many extra actions, right? Because then it really just starts steamrolling the higher, your levels get and the bigger your domain and all that, and you just out action people basically to start dominating. So it's a good bit of internal control there. And then finally, the regent must pay the gold and regency cost for the action, though, and no additional regency can be spent to increase the lieutenant's success chance. So you're just kind of banking off of base success chances there, though. But if it's, again, something relatively low level that you think the lieutenant can handle, and it's not too crazy or too risky that you would want to normally spend extra gold and regency on, then it's a fair gamble, right? Now, if the lieutenant has no expertise in the action, so for example, a fighter trying to build a trade route, the success chance is cut in half. So again, more about DM discretion there. But lieutenants are super useful in many shapes and sizes, and doesn't always have to be a fighter type figure. Certainly, you could have a sort of a court priest, wizard, thief, whatever it might be. So just, again, great opportunity for role playing and creativity there. But again, definitely worth keeping the balances in mind there, just so that things don't get out of hand. The lieutenant shouldn't sort of be everywhere all the time, just in the same way that the regent can't. So let us know in the comments, guys, your thoughts and experiences with lieutenants in your various campaigns and how that's played out. How was the campaign set up as far as player characters go, and was somebody in fact playing the lieutenant? Just hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to support us a little bit more, check out our Patreon. A lot of great perks and early access and even special content for supporters, and specifically a lot will be happening here with Birthright for our patrons. So check that out, guys, and cool way to earn some extra perks too, as far as the channel, the Discord, which we're still fine-tuning a few things before that goes live, but that'll be exclusive to our patrons. So if you want to join, by all means, check us out. Link in the description and at the end of the video. So look forward to seeing some more patrons. I think we just got our first few rolling, so excited to see that. But we'll continue on wrapping up these domain actions, then getting into some other material for Birthright. So take care.